Hey, good evening. It's your girl Taji here, and I have a wonderful guest with me tonight, and that would be Byron, or you may know him as Baby Byron or Lord Baby Byron. But we're gonna start this off with letting us know what is your preference. What do you literally go by? Is it Baby Byron or just
Um,
Byron?
musically, everybody knows me as Baby Byron, but personally, everybody knows me as just B or Byron, shortly, or for that short. And the reason why they know me as Baby Byron for music is because I'm one half of, of a group called a Kid Called Gauwd, but also in my childhood, I was a part of something called the Baby Byron case. So that's why I just chose to keep the name.
Got you. So then that's why you're known as the Baby Byron. And I did read that your story, from when you were a baby was kind of inspired in the movie Losing Isaiah, where we all know the world renowned Halle Berry.
Yeah, that's like her debut. I don't know if that's not her debut film, but that's like the film that kind of I think made Holly kind of, at least in black cinema, like, oh, that's Holly Berry, or because I think that was like a really big dramatic role for her at the time. I think, I guess, lead actress.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But moving on, you are a music artist. You came from a duo group, and now you have your music out. So are you still affiliated with your duo group, which is a kid called Gauwd,
God,
spelled
yeah, yeah. It's
Gauw.
just yeah,
People gonna say God, like, but it's
right.
pronounced as God, like.
Yeah, it's pronounced God, but it's we spelled it differently just so we don't come off so blasphemous, if that makes
Gotcha.
sense. Yeah, so we don't offend nobody.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people out there that would be super offended. Like, wait, what?
Yeah, religion and stuff like that's a very touchy subject. So that's why it's like, out of respect for all the multi beliefs out there, we just
Right.
changed it. Hmm.
So, you're still part of the duo, or are you more
Yeah.
solo now?
No, I'm actually, believe it or not, I don't even have any solo music. But what it is that people might think I was releasing solo music behind me saying that I took the lead in a project, and but it's still a Kid Called Gauwd's project. It's just I took the lead and executive producing it and kind of like helping with the direction, because usually the other half is Ashe, and he kind of does a lot of the lineup and creative direction for the project. So this project and the project after, he kind of let me take the steering wheel. You know what I mean? So it's just why I guess people can say it's like a solo, but it's more so like Baby Byron led AKCG project.
Okay.
So
So,
yeah, to answer that, yeah, AKCG for sure. Still a Kid
uh,
Called Gauwd. Hmm.
AKCG. Got it.
Yeah.
I would hope
Hmm.
you guys hashtag that. These days everybody caters to the hashtags. Do you
Yeah,
have any
yeah,
merch? Do you have any merch for that? A cake
yeah.
God?
We do. We actually had to relaunch our site because we had to do like some development. But Gauwd.com should be relaunched, I think, at the end of next week. But just to be kind of clear on the dates, I think the 18th or 19th or something like that, we're going to relaunch it. But yeah, we have shirts, mostly like stuff that's kind of easy to get, mostly like a shirt, or we have wristbands, things of that nature. But we do our artwork on our merch a little differently. We put our album covers on them because a lot of our album covers people like as individual art sometimes pieces, because sometimes we have for example, Save My Drugs for Later, the EP, one of the 4 EPs we released last year. On the cover is like a collage, but on the collage is like a lot of things that represent where we're from, and that's Pittsburgh. But it's a bunch of things that people might not know unless if they might be from Pittsburgh. So I guess that's like the beauty in it. But then there's national landmarks like Mr. Fred Rogers, in the collage. Then there's Kurt Angle, Olympic medalist and wrestling icon. Then there's people like my brother on the collage, and there's people like Leon Ford, who was shot by police, locally back at home. So it's like a collage of our story. Even me and Shay, we went to the same elementary school. So even on the collages, our elementary school. So sometimes our artwork kind of correlates to where we're from. So that's why a lot of the times our merch, when we sell them back home, people like them because they kind of represents us, but also represents where we're from.
Right, right. All right. So I heard you mention Pittsburgh. How are things in Pittsburgh? I mean, I'm sure everywhere around the world, everyone's wearing masks and so forth.
Right.
Do you know what phase you guys are in
I believe
Pittsburgh?
we're in yellow. I believe we've been in yellow. But it's funny. Even when we wasn't in yellow, I couldn't tell because way where Pittsburgh is, it's like like certain neighborhoods is like still like functioning like it wasn't. So you know what I mean. So I couldn't tell half the time. You know what I mean? Half the time. If the world was shut down, I couldn't tell half the time.
I guess you know what, that must be like that everywhere. Because here in New York, I mean, people act like there's no corona around. And then you have people that are heavily protected, like, no, stay over there.
Right.
Don't need to wear my gloves,
And everybody, hey, proceed with caution if you feel necessary. You know what I mean? And if the place that you're going to requires that, then abide by that. But if you don't feel it applies, let it fly. However, wherever it fits. But I feel like just so we all can stay sociable with each other and respectable. Some people might require the distancing and all those other things that what's those called, procedures. So
right.
But it's how we share a space.
Yeah. So I'm sure you were able to have some time, not some time, but a lot of time in the studio. I know you released the album in April, which is not that long ago, but because of what's going on in the world, it seems so long ago.
Well, even in music, it's like a month ago to some people is a long time ago to some people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why it's like, but with music, it's funny because last year we released 4 EPs on the same day, and it was like was that like 30 something songs? It was like 30 songs. I think each project had 25 songs because each project had 5 songs. And then, like you said, in April, which is not like maybe 5 or 6 months later, we released another, project. And the reason why is because not necessarily because, we were quarantined, but we always recorded like that prior. You know what I'm saying? We always recorded kind of aggressively, and we was always what some would call with lab rats, you know what I'm saying, or something like that. Like we're always in the studio, we always writing or doing music or doing something amongst that type of thing. So we always was prepared if COVID, if COVID was happening and the studio was shut down, we would still have been able to release at least 3 or 4 projects a year for 4 years.
Oh God.
Just because we record that aggressively.
Wow. So you really, really spend time in the studio.
Yeah. That's like our
is it really like your home or like your second home?
Neither. Cause at home you don't work for real. At home you be chilling. That's because I think when I go, actually I treat like the studio like I'm like on a clock, but at the same time it's like when we're in recording mode, like actually in the recording process, of course we're gonna probably have fun or it's gonna be shared environment of entertainment. But at the same time, the studio we go to, you know what I mean, he's a guy, he's been recording us for 4 years. He's kind of a stickler on time, like because he doesn't actually record rapping like that. So we go in there with the intentions on making sure that we go over the limit. If the time frame is 4 hours, we're gonna make sure that we do like at least 4 songs an hour or 5. Just because we know we're on a timetable. And then me and Shay, we got lives outside of the studio that we got to commit to. So we have to be, when we go to the studio, it's like kind of clocking in a job. So that's how we're able to mass produce if that's the case.
Okay, so I want to know the inspiration behind your music. Does it have to be something that you actually been through in life, or is it something that maybe a friend or family member has been through? Because your song, you have dancers, dogs, and don't say no. Like, were those songs something that you went through? Or like when
I don't.
let's put it this way, when you're in your writing, I call it writing brain, you're sitting there and you're writing. And
Right.
you feel the words coming out. Does it specifically have to be on what you feel and what you've been through, or can it be what others have been through?
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, I never actually wrote in third person. I never actually. I looked for it. I looked, when I record a lot and I wrote a lot of songs, but I actually never wrote a song in the point of view of somebody else. Um, Only because, you know, like even for my own music, I don't even say too much of my, past experiences in too much. The reason why is because when I listen to my music, I only want to hear good things. And if my life sometimes might not have that. So people would, in some cases, write about it. But me, on the other hand, I don't revisit those things because I'd have to perform them. I'd have to like make the consumer buy into my traumas. So that's why I don't do that. I would
Gotcha.
rather I would rather make music that's more so based on the vibe, you know what I'm saying, versus you know, uh the actual references of, anything like that. Even I know people find a good therapy in doing that. I just find a better therapy in doing what if scenarios. Because music is also like, entertainment, but it's also imagination to some degree. You know what I mean?
Right.
How good can your imagination be? It doesn't mean you're, unauthentic, because your ideas are your own. So if you feel it's true to you, you know, it's as true as it can, as existence as it is. So that's why I feel like music for me is more so based on the vibe and energy more than
Right.
necessarily what I say. But I know some people do the other side very good. I just, me personally, prefer my side.
So speaking of vibes, have you
Mhm.
adapted to performing virtually, or you know what I mean? Or
Right,
you're
right,
like, nah, I'm gonna wait until I could do a live performance.
right. Me and Ashay as AKCG, we had something planned because we was able to still, when COVID actually happened and everything was kind of quarantine and lockdown, we had so many shows lined up locally that it was like it hurt us. You know what I mean? It kind of like, that was like, that really felt like a stab, especially when one of the shows actually on the heels, actually during the premiere of the quarantine, and we still managed to bring out like almost 100 people, even though under the circumstances. Like it was still like, wow, people still wanted to come out and engage with us and hear our music. So it let us know, like, man, there's nothing better than being in person. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing better, you know what I mean, than
Right.
that. Virtually is cool, but I feel like at the end of the day, you'd want to be like really like to really get a show. It's like
Yeah, you
it's
want to
you'd
be
want to be in
hands on.
person.
You want to
Yeah,
be. It's like if you're performing virtually, whether it's at home or at an event space or outside somewhere,
right.
you hype and everything. It's kind of like you're your own hype,
That's true.
versus
Cause when you
having people
watching
in
the
front of
yeah,
you to hype you
exactly,
even more. Because it's like
exactly,
virtually you can't really see everyone. Like, I
right.
mean, you can, but they're all sitting,
Right. And
or
plus,
sitting.
if you can only see yourself, that's even more nerve wracking to
Right.
me. You know what I'm
Because
saying? That's more nerve wracking because you're seeing all the flaws. You know what I'm saying? Versus when you do a show, you see people and you can kind of focus on a bunch of different things and it can make the set, a lot more easier if you know how to pay attention to the crowd a little bit better for distraction purposes. Versus you're only watching yourself, but people are watching you. It feels like you're in the shower naked or something. It feels weird. You know what I mean? I don't think I
right.
could do that. I don't feel like I could do a virtual show because I don't think it would make sense. Like, especially for how good of a set me and Ashay do when we do live,
Right.
it's really good. So it'd be like, I don't think I could really do it justice on
Right.
FaceTime. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think I could really do my set that justice on FaceTime. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah, because
nah.
I've seen some of your music videos, and I know you could tell that you love to entertain.
Yeah,
So
we
I
do.
get how it would be difficult to. It's like, yeah, virtually you can, but it's different, you know. So I get that, but I just keep hearing it's gonna be virtual for a while.
Right, I've heard that too, but then I'm like, well, shoot, I'll just keep releasing music until the day. You know what I mean, until the day.
Right.
Yeah, I mean.
Don't say no.
Steady on the church.
Don't say no. Don't say no. First you diss me, then you miss me, wanna kiss me, you misleading, that don't add up, now my math different. You say it all so simply, wanna tempt me, but not lift me, you mistreating, now my distant. You say, baby, don't say no to us, cause baby, that's like saying no to drugs. Don't say no. Don't say no. Where was you? Nah, but for real, yeah. When did you become my boo? Nah, but for real, yeah. When did you become the crew? Nah, but for real, yeah. You came out of the blue, can't walk a mile in my shoes. Don't tell me that you love me if you know it ain't the truth. Why you invite your friend if you know I got a coup? I cover all my lies, yeah, with a hint of truth, yeah. You know how I do, yeah. Yes you do, yeah. You know how I do, yeah. Yes you do, yeah. You know how I do, yeah. Yes you do, yeah. Don't say no. First you diss me, then you miss me, wanna kiss me, you misleading, that don't add up, now my math different. You say it all so simply, wanna tempt me, but not lift me, you mistreating, now my distant. You say, baby, don't say no to us, cause baby, that's like saying no to drugs. Yeah. Don't say no. Don't say no.
First you miss me, then you diss me, you look fishy. I keep swimming in your feelings, now I'm drowning in them. You ask me, do you feel me? But I question, kinda tricky. Should I lie? Should I treat you like my past exes? I walk in, she's like, baby, where's my hug? I said I got some, let's go. Yeah. So she said, let's go. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. Don't say no. Yeah.
Don't say no. First you diss me, then you miss me, wanna kiss me, you misleading, that don't add up, now my math different. You say it all so simply, wanna tempt me, but not lift me, you mistreating, now my distant. You say, baby, don't say no to us, cause baby, that's like saying no to drugs. Don't say no. Don't say no.
I know they say adapt or die, but at the same instance, I seen vinyl come back, and that was never in my lifetime, and that was never in my lifetime form of platform of listening to music. That was never an object of mine. But I seen sales increased for vinyl,
Oh
so that lets me
wow.
know, yeah, it increased by like some wild stuff. I'm gonna have to send you the article I read, but it was just something that it struck me like as when it's music. Sometimes it's something that it could be timeless. You know what I mean? Because sometimes people listen to some songs being bro releasing some of the music videos and not knowing that some of those songs was probably recorded 3 or 4 years prior, but they don't know that because it's new to them. So sometimes, you know, you could just keep feeding your creativity by releasing music until, you know, the circumstances change to where the stage could be a thing again. And, you know, if you're sharpening up your skills better, which I plan on doing during my time away from the stage, and I've been trying to get myself better in shape. I've been,
Oh gosh, we're not
just
gonna
trying to
talk
do a
about
lot.
getting in shape, okay? I think
See,
a
I
lot
don't want you to
of
feel
us have
bad because I know it's
quarantine
quarantine and
weight.
stuff. I shouldn't even mention that. See, now you feel terrible.
I mean, listen, I'm gonna get back, you know, but a lot of us have quarantine weight, especially myself. I'll be like, oh man, like, ooh, what the hey, you know? But
Right.
you know, there's a lot of us that's gonna, you know, get back to it. I think it's just difficult. Well, I can speak for myself. You know, we're out here, we have to wear our mask, and you know, it's kind of tough having to work out with a mask on. You know,
Yeah, I
so
can
I would
imagine.
literally be okay with working out at home. You know, but like, you know, some people are into doing push-ups and all that stuff. That's not for me. Like,
Right. Well, usually women they don't do that. Not for real. They're more like
okay.
They're like the cardio. Whenever I see them, like I don't really see them getting down and doing. I usually see them doing things that I don't do.
Yeah,
That's
like
cardio.
Zumba.
You know what I mean?
We
Yeah,
love
Zumba, yeah, stuff like that. Y'all do things that are like more whole body stuff. Y'all, I don't see y'all focusing on y'all arms like that. But that's why, you know, I don't do the gym anyway, so I don't know. You know what I mean? I just when I say working out, I meant like running and walking around the neighborhood or the park. You know what I mean? But the gym would probably help out. But you know, I don't want you to get discouraged because the quarantine will be over soon. But you know, ain't nothing wrong with a little extra weight for quarantine. You probably got somebody that like it, so you know you cool. Don't even stress it.
Yeah, doing things. You know, you know.
Of course, you gotta look at the cup half full. You know
Yeah. I appreciate that. So I want to get into your label, Gauwd Company. So what made you start a label?
Two reasons. Me and AKCG, we would go to our first trip to Los Angeles to meet a record label was in 2018, and I was with Andrew Grant, who was at the time director of A&R at Warner Brothers. So when we met him, beforehand I was like kind of the manager / artist of myself and Isiah. So I used to book our shows and kind of do our videos, and he would, you know, do them as well, but I was always more hands-on, you know what I mean? So when I was realizing that I was given type of a different kind of access to meetings and executives or whoever, while not having a lawyer present, without having an agent or a manager, I took more of a pride in myself and my achievements. So I realized I could do not only that for myself, I could do that for other people. Especially for, you know, the second reason being, you know, back home, we don't have that many record label attention. We don't have that much attention, you know, for real, toward Pittsburgh's music scene. But we have, you know, two iconic artists from here, like Wiz Khalifa and Mac Miller. You know what I mean? But, you know, we're not as most sought out after when it comes to music scenes. But, you know, with AKCG, I wanted to eventually grow us up to be able to build up Gauwd Co. But then eventually I just said, you know, they can work kind of hand in hand until one or the other works. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe in the people next to me as much as I believe in myself. So I feel like, you know, it doesn't matter who gets on first type approach. There's no leader of the band type stuff. It's just I happen to have a story separate from, like, you know, a Kid Called Gauwd and Gauwd Co that I could use to bring attention to it versus, you know, me being what some people will say, like the leader or whatever the case may be. But I am the founder, but at the same time, we look at Gauwd Co kind of in the same essence of its name, which is God. So it's like a body effort, you know what I mean? So we all kind of take that approach.
Nice. So do people know you more, as far as your label by word of mouth? Or I'm sure people, that are in entertainment may be interested in joining your label. So are there certain things that you look for people that are interested in joining?
But believe it or not, people think Gauwd Co is more so like a management company, but that's just because of my involvement. Like, cause I like I said, I kind of have more of a manager role, but instead of just being a manager, I kind of help with their music and help release it. So a lot of the times when people do want to come around and do music with me, they don't really know what I actually do. But in reality, what I do is I'm more like I guess a producer.
Okay.
Of some sort, or like an executive producer of their material. I mean, more or less. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, yeah, it's still under or built under a record label, but it might not run typically the same because usually a CEO of a record company isn't really in the studio working with the artist, helping write the music or helping with the, what I mean? They usually don't do that. That's why at the same time, I don't know if record label is even what we are. Maybe it might be a production company, whatever. But if we're asking for tax purposes, yeah, record label, I guess. but we operate so differently. You know what I mean? We do things so differently, but it's still under, I guess, the same traditions of a typical record company.
So you're more like a producer, and I guess you have like managerial experience, of course you talk very efficient. Like, you definitely know what you're doing. I've seen you've been doing music for some years now, so I'm sure over time you learn a lot of things. Now, what about engineering? Like, is that something that you know how to do as well, or you leave that up to someone else?
Believe it or not, I never learned engineering, but Aunt Shay does, the other half of AKCG. So I was always picking up things that I could do for myself, that I could do engineering for myself. But as far as for somebody else or some other artist, if they're not trying to have exactly what I do for me, then probably not. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say I would never say engineer, but I have experience in engineering. But as time goes on, and as I I get a couple of things off my goal list, that's one of the things that I would like to revisit and start being more so hands-on in that department as well.
Okay, all right. Because in any industry, usually over time, like you start learning things, especially. Right. And I know labels usually happen when you want to support others as well as yourself, or sometimes things don't happen fast enough, so you feel like you need to, hey, the best way I could do it is make my own thing happen.
Right. It's either or. It's either or.
But I'm glad to see that you're sticking with your name. So if people want to come that are interested or whatever the case is, where would they find you? Do you have a particular website? Because I know to follow you on Instagram is Lord Baby Byron,
Right, at Lord Baby Byron, right. And right. I have to actually, I've been so inactive on that account, but I actually have to get back on that. But if anybody does want to reach out to me, it'd probably be best to reach me at Lord Baby Byron at Instagram, or at Kid Called Gauwd. So either way, it'll come to me. I'm saying, but if anything, I gotta really do. That's one thing I do gotta step up now that you're. And Dom will probably be so happy to hear it somewhere if he ever listens to these interviews. He'll probably gonna say, you know what? Yeah, get back on your social media and really work on that. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta get on that. But at Lord Baby Byron primarily is where you could probably reach me.
Okay, and as Instagram, what about Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, since that seems to be the new norm as well.
Right. For all that, it would be at a Kid Called Gauwd. You know what I mean? Only because those places are more so for a Kid Called Gauwd, presence. You know what I mean? But for me specifically, I probably won't be. You might not see me on TikTok. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, not me personally. You know what I'm saying? Nothing against people that do that. It's just, not me personally.
Right.
But yeah, I guess, Twitter, we have a Kid Called Gauwd one, but it's more so, or at Kid Gauwd, sorry. but we, like I said, that's more so generally for music as well. But yeah, anybody can read this out because that's really what we're primarily about. So when it comes to music, you can reach us at Kid Gauwd at Instagram, or at Lord Baby Byron at Instagram, or at a Kid Called Gauwd on Twitter, where we both share that account. So
So what's new? Any projects you're working on that we can look forward to seeing?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
more music videos, maybe.
Yeah, actually, we're dropping a music video. I think on the 5th of next month. Yeah, 5th of next month. And but as far as this month goes, we have another project called Drugs Before the Flight 2 coming out August 19th. So that's, should be on the horizon, and that's probably a more so, because the first flight 1 was more so R&B, kind of abstract love songs kind of stuff, but part 2 is more so what we call over at Gauwd Co jiggy, you know what I'm saying, which is like more so just vibe music, club music, maybe to how we hear club music, and also cruise music. We smoke, it's more so for smoke music, it's more so like that, versus part 1 was more so for abstract and experimental, because there's like different soundscapes. Like sometimes it'll sound like it's in the 90s, sometimes it'll sound like it's in the 2000s, sometimes like 70s. That's why the flight 1 is kind of more of an experimental project, versus flight 2 kind of is more so in our lane of what we released prior, like like we said earlier, Dancers or Dauwgs is more so in that lane, but more improved. So
yeah, that what stuck out to me was sipping, spinning, and dripping.
As I'm actually happy you caught it, because a lot of people say it's a tongue twister. It is a lot to. Not a lot. I'm not saying a lot, but those 3 words, if you try to get anybody to say those in a drinking contest, they're not doing it.
Yeah, because I tried like sipping and spinning and
dipping, spinning, dipping, sipping and spinning and dipping. I know it's a lot.
Yeah, and then sometimes I forget to say the end before the spinning. So sipping and spinning and dipping. Sipping and dipping. Like,
that's a tongue twister, but you got it. You kind of got it. So
hey, I want my gold star.
You get 2 of them.
Yeah, but that's very catchy. Sipping and then dipping. Hey.
With all of my dogs,
Yeah.
A lot of people don't even know that's because when they read it, if they haven't heard the song, they're like, "What does that even spell?" But over at Gauwd, we kind of spell things all backwards anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being unique. Standing out is the best.
That's true. And plus, it brings back out that vintage hip hop. I remember a Tribe Called Quest used to do that. Or Wu-Tang. Sometimes they do like
it back right now.
Yeah, sometimes they would play around with how they spelled things. You know what I mean? And people would like their own form of hieroglyphics. If they're a fan, they'll be like, well, "That's how Wu-Tang get down." Or if they're a fan, that's how whoever get down. That was a crew at the time that had a specific slang or to them. So, but us, we were trying to bring that kind of back. But we try to do everything. We try to bring everything back.
Yes.
In our way.
Yes. It was definitely a pleasure talking to you and learning so much about you and your label and your music. And I can't wait for everybody that's tuning in that missed the first part. Maybe they could hear it later.
Right.
And, straight out of Pittsburgh.
For sure.
And you have a YouTube channel, don't you?
I do. Yep. YouTube.com/Gauwd Co. And that's not just myself. That's me and my brothers and sisters I share music with. And so it's a variety of people. I can't give you all the names, right? Because there's a lot of people.
It'd be like that sometimes.
I'd rather them all be mad than individual ones be mad. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, if I don't mention you, shoot, join the list. But they're out working hard doing their music. But I appreciate the support, and I thank you for taking the time out to talk with me and let me share my story, share my music.
Listen, we both
let me hear you rhyme. That was dope. Yeah, we both from the East Coast. You feel me? So we gotta represent. You feel me?
Of course. Get this Corona down. Get this music back up, and be out there performing sooner than later. And you know, thank you so much for your time. I can't wait to hear more of your music, see more of your videos. And you guys heard it here live with Taji, and y'all have a great night. We're here with Byron. Make sure y'all follow. Yes.
Shout us out. We appreciate you so much, and everybody in New York. You know, keep it, yourself in good energy. You know what I mean? Tomorrow will be better, just like everywhere else. You know what I mean? We're gonna get there.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, so you have a great night, and thank you for tuning in, everybody.
Yes, sir.
If I spot a op, I do a UV with the Uzi. If I spot your thought, I buy her Louis and not Gucci. I be sipping and spinning and dipping with all of my dogs. I be spinning and splitting and give it to all of my dogs. I pull up with all of my niggas that's with it, let's get it. We handle our business, funerals, the weddings, they all get funded. They sign me with trouble, yeah, I'm always up to something, yeah. Little bitch, I made it. Part 2 of my 15 minutes. Little bitch, yeah, already famous. Little bitch, and I'm already faded. Yeah, good top, good morning. Good God, good gracious. Now you really need to face it. Like the words of your bitch before I ate it. You niggas is basic. Like a fiend, I love when the bass it. If I spot a op, I do a UV with the Uzi. If I spot your thought, I buy her Louis and not Gucci. I be sipping and spinning and dipping with all of my dogs. I be spinning and splitting and give it to all of my dogs. If I spot a op, I do a UV with the Uzi. If I spot your thought, I buy her Louis and not Gucci. I be sipping and spinning and dipping with all of my dogs. I be spinning and splitting and give it to all of my dogs.
I'm in the attic right now, watch the money upload. Hustle ain't right, then the money can't grow. If the bitches all coming, then they getting unclothed. Can't be around if I know you told. Winter real hot, cause the summer real cold. I was just chillin' and your bitch just showed. She put it in her lip and she put it in her nose. Said she love me, but I don't really know. Fiendin', steamin', Willie, beamin'. Got 2 twins, I spelled they name with my semen. Got 10 racks in my savage name, nigga. I'm leanin'. I want more money, but I'm giving to the heathens. Greedy. I might look greedy. I might look greedy.
With the pen, yeah, I penetrate this bitch. So much water on my wrist, yeah, gotta stay hydrated. Killing bad bitches until it's annihilation on annihilation. My occupation is the occasion, yeah, I'm always on time when I pull up in the latest. Something they expected, hard for them to reject it, but I keep them all guessing. If I feel their tension, yeah, I pull up and I stretch them with the Smith & Wesson. On the south, I'm a legend. On the east, you know I'm a reverend, cause I give them all blessings. My word is bond, my word is law, your word is not, your word is flawed. Case closure unsolved, I don't fuck with none of y'all. Yeah, put the pack in and put the pack out. Once I let you back, then can get you back out. It's just me, test the temperature. If I don't like the degrees, body change from the temperature when they deceased. I remember used to sell trees, yeah, with Patrice. But because maybe I was just a teen and maybe she was a fiend, they would just get out on me. My life really ain't a sad story, it's a dark comedy. I got power and jealousy. I guess that's just the God of me, ain't no fraud of me. I As I sat there, wondered how many stars over Saturn. One time for the ancestors, gotta let it burn. One time for the bastards who got it backwards. The world ain't yours, only answer, it's all mine. Blame my cancer, full rounders, turn them into dancers.
One time for the bad bitches with credit, yeah. Feel like Magneto pulled her in with my magnetic, yeah. She ate the dick like a hot bag of Cheetos. My white girl getting thick like a Mexi burrito, yeah. They might give you money, down, make you equal, yeah. Guns kill niggas, but hoes is more lethal, yeah. If you wanna book the Gauwd facts to Allen's, if you wanna hit the label, then hitting subscribers. If she saying she a freak, let me witness her talent. Baby, I'm not trying to victimize you. We just trying to victimize you, to hypnotize you. Real nigga won't criticize you, cause we just had a business.
As I sat there, wondered how many stars over Saturn. One time for the ancestors, gotta let it burn. One time for the bastards who got it backwards. The world ain't yours, only answer, it's all mine. Blame my cancer, full rounders, turn them into dancers.